Our first tipping point tonight, are we today the nation our founding fathers envisioned when they signed their names and pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor on the Declaration of Independence 241 years ago? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Have we, as a country, protected these rights? Or slowly but surely have we given our liberties away in exchange for a false sense of security? Joining me now, host of the Andrea Kaye radio show, Andrea Kaye, and Democratic strategist Joel Payne. Andrea, Joel, happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day to you guys as well.
All right, Andrea, let's start with this question of the day, and I want to turn to you first.
Okay.
241 years ago, that's how old we are this 4th of July. Are we today the nation our founding fathers envisioned when they gathered in that Continental Congress and signed the Declaration of Independence?
Well, I think, unfortunately, we are far from what our founders envisioned, although they kind of actually predicted that we might end up down this road. In fact, it was Jefferson who said that the natural progress is for government to gain ground and for liberty to yield. And over 241 years, we've managed to make it longer than the Roman Empire, in which they studied and were students of. No, we're not near what they envisioned for this country, which was limited government, individual freedom, freedom for the free marketplace, and freedom from tyrannical government, which seeks to impose its will on the people.
All right, Joel, what do you think?
Well, look, it's a mixed bag. I think in some ways we're a much better nation. It's a much better life if you are someone like me, an African-American man, or someone like you, Liz, a woman, anyone who is a non-white landowner. It is a better world to live in, okay? But there are a lot of things that we still have so much progress to go on. There's so many things that we have to, kind of continue to march towards to fulfill the promise that our founders intended. I think that some of the things that you read in that Declaration of Independence, equal protection under, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, equality, I think those are things that we still have a long way to go, and that is regardless of whether there's an R or a D behind your name, regardless of whether you voted for Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. I think we've all got a long way to go to get towards some of those goals.
Right, and this is a day out of every other day of the year to remember that we're Americans first and not Republicans first, not Democrats first, not supporters of Donald Trump or people who oppose him. You two are so cynical, bringing me down on this Independence Day, saying that we're not the nation that our founding fathers envisioned. I would actually disagree with you both and say we are, as America, more than our founding fathers could have possibly envisioned. Andrea, I agree with you. We're not, we don't exercise the same limited government that they have in mind, and that's a problem. Joel, I agree with you when you say we have a long way to go. That's true. But who could have possibly imagined 241 years ago, as this motley crew of intellectuals sat in Continental Congress, that we would become the superpower of the world, the nation, the beacon of freedom that we are, where everyone, man, woman, child, regardless of your race, regardless of your orientation, your gender, could accomplish anything that we want to accomplish, that you can rise from any level of poverty to any level of success based off of your own hard work. That, no matter how old our nation gets, that will continue to give me the chills for the rest of my life.
Well, yes, but unfortunately, that's not really what the left doesn't really embrace the notion of what our founding fathers did, which was that you were not guaranteed anything but opportunity. You weren't guaranteed equality. If you could dream it and were willing to work hard enough for it, you could achieve it. Not have a government seize the property from one individual to give it to another one under the false quest for equality. And, you know, when we have, they believed in that our rights were from God. They believed in natural law. That was one of the most fundamental core beings of the founders. And since almost that time, the left has done everything that they could to assert man's law over us. Our founders understood that if you believe that man could grant you rights, that man could take it away. And that's why the left has worked so hard to try to replace God with state.
Right, and I don't disagree with that. I think the idea that we rely on government is one of the ways that we have gotten off track. Our founders envisioned us relying on ourselves and our families and our communities, not relying on the government, because that allows the government to abuse us, essentially, to take advantage of that. Joel, what do you think? Where have we lost sight? Where have we gotten off track from what our founding fathers envisioned?
Well, Well, in the spirit of bipartisanship and unity, I'm going to trust that Andrea is not on the opposite side of me in terms of equality. I don't know if if I heard her answer incorrectly, but it sounded like she was suggesting that the founders didn't guarantee us equality. I think that they did in their words and not in their deeds all the time, but definitely in their words. But I'll say this: this is an amazing country for someone like me. Look. My great-grandfather was a sharecropper in Georgia, the man whose namesake I am. And I sit here before you educated, I've worked in Congress, I'm sitting on TV, for crying out loud, talking about politics. So that's not lost on me, but we can't lose the fact that there are so many of those promises that are unfulfilled still. That we still have so far to go.
What promise was unfulfilled? When I say that our founders did not, they don't guarantee us equality, I'm talking about equality of an outcome. I come from incredibly poor people too. I come from American Indians on mama's side of the fence. I come from dirt poor people. You know, my grandmother had a 6th grade education and you know, worked to death in a textile factory where they made a movie based on it. I come from some po people, okay? And I knew from an early childhood that I better work my butt off and get a college education paid for by me, not by my fellow taxpayers, so that I could make sure that I had a way for me to seize the opportunity that came my way, not expecting anybody to do anything for me. It's about equal opportunity that our founders envisioned for us, not equal outcomes. And I think that's where the equality debate kind of goes off the rails with the left.
Well, I don't think we need to have a corner of pain discussion here, right? I think everybody kind of comes from different straits. But I'll say this. You know, I come from working class backgrounds. My parents were supported by government programs at times that helped make sure that my brothers and I could enjoy a good life and we could all go to college like we have. I went to college and I got federal loans, right, and federal assistance to make sure that I could be educated. There are parts of the social compact where government plays a role in making sure that we can fulfill all of our promises.
Right. The role of the government, as envisioned by our founders, the role of our government, as envisioned by our founders, is to protect that, to protect equal opportunity that we were talking about. Not equal outcome, but our opportunity to live our lives, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And these sob stories that we're each sharing, I mean, that is the embodiment of the American dream, that you can come from wherever and achieve whatever you want if you put your mind to doing that. And I know I am so fortunate, so grateful to live in this nation, in the United States of America. Andrea, Joel, God bless.